Hello everybody, and welcome to our first video in our series of how to make a Let's Play.
How to make a Let's Play.
So the first video we'll be doing is how to record a video, by yourself or with someone else.
I'm someone else.
Yes, icon is someone else. And so the first thing we're going to cover is HyperCam. Also, real quick, this is how we do it. There's a lot of ways to do Let's Plays, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube how to do it, but a lot of people have been asking me how I do it. So this is mostly on how I do it, not how, this is the only way or anything like that. So we use HyperCam. Cam Studio is also very popular, but I have huge issues with Cam Studio because it's a good program, but for some reason it kept dumping our videos after we had made them, and then it would say, oh, corrupt file, and not save it, and it was really frustrating. And I also heard tale that people say it doesn't record anything more than 10 or 15 minutes, which is kind of frustrating as well. With HyperCam, we've never had a limitation like that. We recorded up to like 30-minute videos before, so... Anyways. So the first tab you'll see here is the screen area. What you're going to want to do is select a window more likely than a region. Right now I actually have a region selected because I don't need to show my whole desktop, only part of it. Generally what you're going to do is select a window. So if you want to record something like, in our case, WinTV, we'll open up WinTV here. And I'll sit here and start up the services. And then I'm going to right click and say Find Channel or Composite. Because this is how I play off a PlayStation. So we'll have a window right here. So we'll go back to HyperCam, and I would normally click Select Window, and a little green box will appear wherever I hover over. So in our case, it would hover around the edges of WinTV, and then we would just click once, and then it would be set to select that region, which was the inside window. So it's pretty useful when you just want to, quickly select an area, or you can manually do it by selecting a region. So the other thing to do is you can leave HyperCam open when recording or not. It's up to you. The biggest thing though on this is the captured layer and transparent windows. If you're using WinTV or another complex program like that, it's probably going to have a transparent window on top. So when you try to record it, it can do something funky like only showing the first frame in the recording or a black screen. If you get wonky stuff like that, try selecting this. It will slow down the performance a little if you have an older machine, but that should be able to cut through that funky layer and record what you really wanted to record. Hotkeys is pretty self-explanatory. If you want to select a hotkey, I hate hotkeys. For anyone who's watched my early videos, you'll notice that I've messed up a couple times by pushing the wrong key, so I don't ever really play with this. The AVI file tab is where you want to save a file. I could go as WinTV, we don't need that anymore. Right now I'm actually recording to Monster Rancher 44, which I'll have to rename after this. My suggestion is to do add sequential number, leave that checked. That way if you forget to rename the file between recordings, it'll automatically number it so you don't overwrite the previous file. I never messed with any of these settings. You're more than welcome to if you're having problems with getting it to capture at a good frame rate, but I actually found these settings to be the best ones. Video compressor, leave it on auto select, which is very strongly recommended even by HyperCam. I use a bunch of different codecs, so I'm not quite sure which one it's picking, but I suggest the DivX codec or XVid, I think which is just DivX backwards, but they're both very good. Sound is probably one of the more complex things. This is where people get caught up. If you want to record your own voice and the game music, this is what you're going to need to do. You're going to have to set this to stereo mix. Stereo mix is pretty much a driver that picks up anything coming out of the speakers. That includes Skype, if you're using it, the game music, your own voice, stuff like that. So if you're not set to stereo mix and you're just set to normal speakers, it won't pick up your microphone after you set it up, like I'll show you. So to be able to hear yourself through the microphone, you'll first obviously need a microphone. And the second is to go to something like control panel, hardware sound, adjust system volume. You can also do this by bypassing the control panel and just right-clicking in the bottom right where the sound is and say view mixer panel or view sound panel depending on whatever windows you're in. you can right click, and so properties when you're down on the right. Or if you're in this window, you can just click on this once and it'll open up the properties. You'll want to go to the Listen tab and then click Listen to this device. It doesn't really matter if you play back the speakers or whatnot. I mean, I'm listening through headphones, but make sure you have Listen to this device selected. You'll hear yourself when you're talking, but then you know this stereo mix is picking you up as well. I have mine turned all the way up. I don't know, you might have to do it as well, so people can hear you. But yes, listen to the device, very important. If you have an older version of Windows, like Windows 98, I suggest looking at Late Blight's how-to. I'll put a link in it to his video in my description, and he actually, I think, has Windows 98, so he has a much older version, so you can see how he does the same thing, where you'll need to have listen to this device. Stereo mix also is kind of funny. A lot of people are like, where is it? I can't see it. Oftentimes it's hidden. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have closed that. Let me reopen it. You don't always see it offhand. Sometimes you'll have to right... Oh, you can't right-click there. Dang it. Oh, I don't remember how to do it off... But it might just be disabled or hidden. It depends on the windows. You might have to right-click in the area and say, show disabled devices. Also, if you have a Sony Vaio, especially a newer one, there's a 99.9% chance you're not going to see stereo mix at all, no matter what you do. This is because Sony decided that stereo mix is only for legal purposes and in no way could be used for anything else, and so they completely disabled it. There's no way to enable it on a Sony Vaio on most newer models, so you're out of luck if you're in that case. Since I've been looking, there might be a way around it, but I don't know of it, so... Also, with Skype, you're going to have to make sure you have your microphone set to stereo mix so your friend can hear the music. Finishing with HyperCam, make sure record cursor and add starburst are unchecked. I only have them checked for the purpose of this Let's Play, or this video. Generally you want that off, so your poor viewer doesn't see your cursor the whole time during the video if you leave it on the middle of the window. And then license is a license. It's a free program if you use HyperCam 2. HyperCam 3 you have to pay for, but HyperCam 2 is free. And I've had no problems with it, so... Well, I take that back. One problem, but it's easily fixed, which I'll show in the next video. So I think that's everything with HyperCam. Does she think Icon?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so that's how to record by yourself. If you want to be with a friend, that's easily enough. You need a way to record their voice, and you need a way for them to see what you're doing, because if they can't see what you're doing, then they can't comment. So to fix the voice problem, we use Skype. We don't do anything special with Skype except for I set my microphone to stereo mix so he can hear the game music as well, but other than that, we don't have anything special. To share screens, there's a lot of programs to share screens, but we use TeamViewer. I have two TeamViewers. They're the same. They're just not really cross-compatible, and Icon uses 5, and my other friend uses 6, so... But TeamViewer looks like this. It's pretty simple, actually. It gives you an ID and a password. So when Icon wants to log in to see my screen, I give him my ID and password. TeamViewer is actually pretty cool about remembering IDs. Your ID does not change, but the password changes every time. So he doesn't have to type my ID in every time. I just have to give him the 4-digit password, and then he can see my screen. So, and once he's connected to my screen, oh, I can't show it to you right now, but it puts a little box down in the bottom right corner. And there's a single button that's in the bottom right corner that says enable or disabled mouse from the other person. You might want to make sure that that's disabled so they can't click on your screen. They can move the mouse around and try to click on stuff, but it doesn't do anything. This way they don't accidentally open something in the middle of a video.
It only happened one time.
Yeah, and it's probably just a safe way to, just in case if they want to click around on the screen to help out pointing out stuff, that way they don't accidentally, close it or whatnot. But we've had no problems with TeamViewer. We actually tried the built-in Skype screen share, and we're not a fan of it, but I think we tried a lot of screen sharing programs, actually.
Yeah, we tried a whole lot of them. And these are all cross-compatible things that we're talking about, too, in terms of
yes.
TeamViewer.
Yeah, he has a Mac, so...
And then on my side of things with TeamViewer, I do have to set up a few things differently. Unfortunately, it's going to be too easy to show you guys, but if you guys are setting up something similar to us and you have a client who's connecting to the host, have the client go up to their view settings and then go to quality and select custom settings, and then also edit their custom settings. And you should probably set it to be highest speed for quality. And I usually keep mine set for true color for the colors. But what that does for me is it makes it as kind of stutter free as possible and as lag free as possible. So there still is a little bit of lag, as anybody who's watched our videos knows, because I always kind of lag behind on read the dialogue text. But it's pretty good. Previously, when we used the default settings, we were walking to like Gregminster for like 45 minutes, or what was that? Or
because you were like trying to see what the frame rate was, and I was like, "Can you see me now? Can you see me now? Can you see me now?" Like running around in Gregminster.
That's why Snappy does like all the NPC reading for like, all the text and stuff. It was bad. It'll have like a half frame refresh rate. So yeah, not too difficult, but once you get that set up, it's pretty stutter free and pretty lag free, and you can. It's not YouTube quality, but it's pretty close to YouTube quality, and so I can see and follow along as she's playing and can comment on the action as it's happening.
Yep. And as for what we use to play the games, like WinTV versus, for instance, EPS6, which you can see here in the corner, it really doesn't really matter what you use. Both of those work just fine for me, so you can use an emulator or something like WinTV. If you want to use something like what I use for WinTV, let me move this. This is what I use. It does cost money, but if you don't mind putting a little bit of money into this hobby, if you really enjoy doing it, I like this way personally because I prefer to play off a console than an emulator. I really don't like emulators, but it's definitely a way to go if you can't afford something like this.
I love that comment. It does cost money.
It does, like everything else we have.
Well, I'm just thinking like, would it cost like butter otherwise, or
no? I mean, you know what I meant. But I guess if you have more specific questions on emulators, we'll make another video on top of that. We won't be able to answer some questions, like if you have questions about the BIOS, due to legal reasons, we can't answer questions like that. But if you have questions on how to use it or set it up, I guess we can do another video on it. But I'm pretty sure there's got to be YouTube videos on how to set up EPS6E.
Yeah, definitely. Do not ask us anything about the BIOS. Don't private message us about it. Don't.
Yeah,
do anything
we will.
To...
I will respond with I can't answer, and I really can't answer. It would be illegal for me to answer that question. So, we won't answer that question. But if you have any other suggestions on how to improve the system, if you have a better way, that would be great if you could let us know. I'm a person that gets set in my ways. So even if I hear a better suggestion, that doesn't necessarily mean I'll change it to a better suggestion, but I would still like to hear it. And if you have questions on how to make a video, go ahead and ask, and I'll answer the best of my abilities. The next video will be how to edit a video, how to edit, make it a different format, or if you want to change the sound, like, you'll notice sometimes I cut sound out. That's a pretty simple thing to do as well. Or if you run into the same problem we have with HyperCam, where it does weird stuff to the video, it's an easy fix. I can show you that as well, so wait to the next video for that. But I think for now, I think that's it. So we'll see you guys in the next video when we edit something.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.